Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. Tomorrow is going to be UFC Fight Night. This is going to be UFC Fight Night 59. This is coming to you live from Boston, the same city that will be hosting the Colts versus Patriots AFC Championship game. Tomorrow's big main event is McGregor versus Seaver. You got Russia going up against Ireland. Of course, everybody knows that if McGregor gets the win, he's going to be moving on to fight Jose Aldo for the UFC Featherweight Championship. But honestly, one of the most very surprising things that came out of this, of me looking over the card, seeing if I knew any of these guys, seeing if there was any fights on here that I needed to watch. I know that Fox is going to be playing up commercials on the NFL broadcast, telling you to flip over as soon as the game is over to catch the Conor McGregor versus Dennis Seaver fight. But I noticed Donald Cerrone is fighting here against Benson Henderson. Donald Cerrone's name is something that jumped out at me. He only fought 2 weeks ago, UFC 182. Normally, there's a lot of times when I'll see a fighter's name on the card, and since I'm a new UFC fan, they jump off the page, and I say, I know this name, but I don't remember when I saw them fight, or I don't really remember anything about it. I have to go back, find my video, and see the things that I liked about him and what I remembered about him. Now, Donald Cerrone was a guy that, honestly, I only paid attention to his fight at UFC 182 because somebody mistakenly told me that this is one of the guys that CM Punk was going to be fighting with. But Donald Cerrone quickly in his fight took Miles Jury down to the ground. It turned into sort of like rolling around, sort of jiu-jitsu battle. They didn't really stand up all the time, but he was a really good fighter. But I gotta honestly give this guy all the respect in the world. Basically, UFC, they had a problem with the card. Eddie Alvarez was scheduled to fight against Benson Henderson, the former UFC light heavyweight champion, and due to an injury, he was taken out of the fight. And basically, Cerrone stepped up to the plate, saying that he was able to go. Cerrone's fight went 3 rounds. It went the distance because he was settled by decision, where he got the win over Jury. So honestly, in my mind, I'm very, very surprised. It's not like Cerrone got into the octagon, walked up to the middle, and just knocked the dude out and didn't go through a grueling battle. 15 days in order to get back in against a guy like Benson Henderson is a huge risk that Cerrone is going to be taking. I don't think this is just for a payday. I think this is a lot about earning respect in the lightweight division, and hopefully, UFC will pay him back. I know that there's a lot of backstage politics when guys step up to the plate and they fill in for fights. UFC doesn't really... It goes on your record. People will remember it. But, UFC doesn't hold it against you because, you're really being a big guy to step up and say that you're loyal to the company and that, you're doing one for the fans, you're doing it for the company. Everybody wins in this situation. Benson Henderson doesn't have to sit on the sidelines waiting for Eddie Alvarez to get healthy and get back into the octagon. He's going to be able to fight, and we're going to see what we're going to do. So I'm going to be cheering for Donald Cerrone in this fight. I hope it's not a fool's bet, but Cerrone and Henderson's going to be a good fight tomorrow. I know that these guys have a history. They fought twice at WWC, 43 and 48. These were in 2009 and 2010. One of these, the later one in 48, was held here. It was Jose Aldo against... Uriah Faber here at the Arco Arena in Sacramento. That's the reason why I can remember that card and remember that fight. That was a big deal that was built up. We were always told that if we kept on having these big cards here, that UFC finally would step up to the plate and they would deliver us a pay-per-view. Hopefully everybody won't remember the travesty of a show that ended up at Arco Arena last time. People ended up walking up to the gate asking for refunds because there were so many guys stripped from that show, especially the main event. But it is what it is. Benson Henderson has beat Donald Cerrone twice before, but this was 4 to 5 years ago. But we're going to see what we get done. But much respect to Cerrone taking this fight and making sure that this show goes off without a hitch.